Afternoon and welcome into the latest episode of Men of a Certain Age, The Soup. As always, I'm Les. I got my man DL and my man Panero with me. So what's up with y'all fellas? How was your week? How you feeling, man?
No complaints here, man. I never complain. Good week of being an adult, good week of adulting, and just getting back into the groove of things. I didn't go to court at all this week. I just filed a bunch of paperwork, which is advantageous to the process. I got a bunch of court days next week. I got Clayton County, DeKalb County, Fulton County, and Cobb County next week. So I'll be pretty busy with that.
Man, keep pushing that paper, cousin.
Nice.
P Double, what's up with you, my G?
Nice. Yo, I understand business, but I'm talking, what's that? What happened to the Knicks yesterday, man? Could nobody guard Jaylen Brown, man?
Man, listen.
Come on, man.
Until the team is
a whole team, yeah.
But we can't judge it. We cannot judge the Knicks until they together as a whole team, because pieces here, a piece here and a piece there, without them being a whole unit. You got OG and you got OG out there to be able to defend the wing. You know what I mean? To be that wing defender. He ain't out there on the court. You know,
they missed him yesterday, fam. Last night they missed him a lot.
It's a work in progress. We want to get everybody together by the time April roll around.
Yeah, let's hope we can do that.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, on this week's episode of The Soup, we got something really hot brewing. We got a lot of topics we want to touch, a lot of things we want to throw in to the pot and keep it cooking. But the first thing I want to start with, man, is like last week, man, right here where I live, here in the city of Nashville, we had some bullshit go down. And the bullshit, what I'm talking about is, man, we had a Nazi watch downtown. I'm about to say Buffalo, downtown Nashville, man. Can y'all fucking believe that shit, yo?
Incredible.
2024, we got Nazi marches.
In 2024, man. So what I got is I got a cut from one of the state councilmen, Mr. Justin Jones, who was one of the three councilmen who was suspended for a quick minute and then got their positions back. He actually filmed some of the footage. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and cut to his footage, and then we can come back and chop it up about that, man.
March here in downtown Nashville. White supremacists talking about white supremacist neo-Nazism, talking about deporting folks and just racial hatred. This is what we're seeing here in Nashville.
Where's your faces? Where's your criminal faces? Cowards! Cowards! All of you!
Literally having a Nazi march here in downtown Nashville. White supremacists talking about white supremacist neo-Nazism, talking about deporting folks and just racial hatred. This is what we're seeing here in Nashville.
Where's your faces? Where's your criminal faces? Cowards!
Don, I noticed definitely it sparked all of us, but it actually sparked you because you reached out to me and was like, yo, when you saw this, you was like, yo, we got to definitely build on this. So go ahead, man, and set it off on your thoughts on this particular topic.
I try to frame things from a historical point of view. And obviously, Tennessee is where the Ku Klux Klan was originally founded. You know what I mean? So there's obviously a history of an inbred and generational racism there. It's amazing to me how we live in the land of the First Amendment, which means you can say basically whatever you want. You can print it, you know what I mean? Say it. I love that. I love that about America. But what is amazing to me is how these people cover their faces.
Yeah.
And really the danger in that is the fact that they could be judges, they could be clerks, they could be police officers, they could be an integral parts of society that, admissions counselors, they could be anybody. And with them covering their faces, not only is it cowardly, but it provides an extra layer of evil to it, because they're being completely deceptive about who they are. And obviously they're organized to a certain extent if they're able to get together like this. We need to be more conscious and more concerned about white Christian nationalism, because that is a very real and a very dangerous and quite possibly the biggest dangerous threat to us as a whole. And I think that the less it's emphasized, or the less that we don't pay attention to it, I think, as you can tell, if they're able to march in a predominantly black city like Nashville, in downtown in the middle of the daytime, then it's seriously a problem.
Add on to what you just mentioned about Christian nationalism. Mm-hmm. Break that down a little bit more for us, Don.
Sure. Basically, what Christian nationalism is, white Christian nationalism in America, is the fact that they go back to literally the translation of the Constitution. That it goes that the only people in this country that should have rights are white male land owners. You know what I mean? And that the country is built upon Christian values, even though it clearly states in the Constitution that there's a separation between states. So what it does is it puts on an air of traditions to America. Things like Christmas. People who don't say happy holidays say Merry Christmas. They intertwine their white supremacy ideology with the Christian religion to make it like a theology an ideology where America should only be a certain way, and only certain people should have rights. And that's what Christian nationalism literally is in a nutshell.
Appreciate that, Lord.
No
P,
problem.
when you actually saw the footage that we just put up, and even I know you saw it even beforehand, what were some of the things that you thought about, and some of the things that you was like, man, this is some bullshit straight up and down?
Well, the First Amendment guarantees you the right of freedom of speech and expression and the ability to protest, but you're not supposed to, you can't yell fire in a movie theater. You know what I'm saying? So they're out there preaching hate. Now, say another religious group did the same thing. What would they call it? They would consider that terrorism. You know what I'm saying?
Radical.
It's radical terrorism when you're using religion to push your views on a country that's supposed to have religious freedom, even the freedom to not be religious in this country. You know what I'm saying? So it's 2024. It feels like you think we would be beyond this, but obviously we're not. And Don was saying, if you're covering your face, are you really proud, or are you hiding something? Hiding the fact that you're a lawyer or a police officer or even a doctor that may have to administer something to me, and you don't even respect me. You don't like me. You may give me something that may knock me out, and then I can't take care of my family. So it's horrible that we live in a country where we're supposed to be a so-called melting pot, but then again, there's the white Christian nationalists who feel like it's their country, even though it's not. We were here before you even got here. You know, that's my take on it, fam. It's just, it's heartbreaking, man.
So I definitely what you're saying. And the next thing that I want to bring up in the soup is this, and it all correlates to what we're going to move on to next. And that's Mr. Donald Trump. From the Nazi march in downtown Nashville to Mr. Donald Trump speaking to a group of so-called Black conservatives. So what I want to do is this, man, is I want to place this cut from Trump speaking to the Black conservatives in the state of South Carolina. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. It's probably about 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes worth of his rhetoric, and we're going to come back and do what we do. So here we go.
That's why the Black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually view me as I'm being discriminated. It's been pretty amazing.
So before we get too deep, I want to give credit to this particular pod. It's the Media Touch podcast is what we're getting this cut from. And it's truly amazing to sit back and listen to this dude spew his BS, and people applaud and cheer and laugh and cackle at it. And it's, are you really listening to what he's saying at the end of the day? But I'm going to go ahead. I digress. Let's go ahead and get into this.
I think that's why the Black people are so much on my side now, because they see
The Black people.
At least we're not the Blacks anymore.
what's happening to me happens to them. Does that make sense? When I did the mugshot in Atlanta, that mugshot is number one. Elvis Presley's number two, and Frank Sinatra's. They had Frank Sinatra for fighting, and they had Elvis for, I don't know, something in a gas station. Hold up a gas station, I don't know, something. Elvis. So Elvis is number two, but he was always number one. The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The Black population. It's incredible. Black people walking around with my mugshot. Yeah, they do shirts and they sell them for, I'm not sure that Cary Grant, do you know Cary Grant? He was this very handsome guy. I'm going to put it more in this. Sidney Poitier, I thought he was very handsome, right? When he was 81, I'm not sure he looked great in a bathing suit. I don't know if anybody looks too great in a bathing suit at 81. What do you think?
Talking about, man?
Bathing suit. Less. Would you rather have the black president or the white president who got 1.7 billion off the price? I think they want the white guy. Right now. Jim from yes, Mr. President, what's your favorite color of the ice cream and flavor of the ice cream?
Why the hell are they cackling like that, man? What are they getting paid per laugh? I mean, what the fuck, yo?
Okay. Then he picks up a card and he reads the answer. My favorite color is black. But my favorite ice cream is vanilla. More people after my ass than anybody. I don't think there's ever been a criminal, the worst criminal in history has not had the kind of attention that I've had. These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These lights. We've come a long way together.
With that bullshit with Donald Trump. So the next thing I want to do is this, because it all coincides. Again, it all correlates and it is all wrapped together. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So the next thing I want to do is I want to play from Into America. They had which is a podcast with Tramaine Lee. He does an excellent job. He's actually a writer that works on MSNBC, and he actually did a sit down with some prominent black men in the culture. He sat down with Reverend Al Sharpton, and he talked to Ben Crump, the attorney who usually handles all the unfortunate killings that's happening to black folks. So he sat down with Reverend Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump, and he also sat down with Buffalo's own Benny the Butcher. So what I want to do is this, man, is I want to play a quick clip of Benny, the Rev, and Attorney Crump sitting down with Tramaine Lee and Charles Smith. Let's go ahead and get into this real quick. Here we go.
The Reverend Al Sharpton is a legend in the world of civil rights activism. He's been fighting the power for more than 60 years, and he's also the host of the program Politics Nation on MSNBC. Benjamin Crump is often referred to as Black America's Attorney General. He's a civil rights lawyer who has represented the families of dozens of unjustly killed Black Americans, including Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor. And Benny the Butcher is an acclaimed rap artist from Buffalo, New York. He's a pillar and an institution in that city, and he was instrumental in supporting the families of those killed by a white supremacist at a Buffalo grocery store in May of 2022. As black men, 2024, what's the biggest thing you're listening for in terms of someone who's asking for your vote? One issue.
Equal protection under the law, criminal justice. Everything else begins and ends if we are protected to live under the law like everybody else. I can't do nothing dead. Economic freedom, y'all. Once we have economic freedom, all the other freedoms are attainable. Education, quality health care, making sure you got good police in your community. But right now, how many funerals Reverend Al are gonna have to pay for because black people couldn't even afford life insurance?
My thing is something that's going to directly affect my community. Because from being a rapper, a lot of those issues is there for us to clean up. You know what I'm saying? When people call my phone, it's the holiday season. People call my phone all the time. They need things for their kids. They can't do certain things. So anything that's going to directly affect my community, I'm saying where it's going to take a load off of us, going to take a burden off our shoulders, man, I'm all for it. That's what I'm going for.
Benny, you caught a lot. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going. You caught a lot of heat about saying that you would support Trump. Do you still feel that way?
This is what I'm going to say. I learned a lot of that day. But honestly, that just comes from frustration about things not being right in my community.
Okay.
And wanting to try it a different way. You know what I'm saying? But what I learned, I'm not a political person. I'm just boots on the ground in the city every day. And there's very few changes that reach down, that trickle down in our community. I got a lot of flack back from that. But I realized this. I did realize a lot of black people voted Trump. They just don't put it out there like I did. Yeah. I haven't voted since Obama. You feel what I'm saying? That I don't think anything driven me to go to the polls.
I want you to always be honest, man, because the one thing I believe is that you gotta get to the streets. If they want us to be motivated to come out and vote, we gotta make sure people.
It's one more clip I want to play before we actually go ahead and build on this topic. So this last topic is from the Native Land Pod, and we're going to go ahead and run that clip real quick, and then we'll come back and do it for real.
Trump.
I say Trump.
You with Trump?
Yes.
Why is that?
Lied to me.
Ooh, okay.
We're playing this.
That's a
we're
little
playing
much
this
for
in
me.
our podcast.
I don't think we should play any of that.
Yeah, I don't think any of. I don't know.
I wouldn't.
I didn't know we were.
I want to play some of it.
When you see that many voices spewing that much incorrectness, I think it may potentially leave people with the opinion that the constituency of that group is larger than what it is. I hear people with those kinds of critiques who didn't arrive at the conclusion that then Donald Trump was going to be the answer. I hear critiques of, I ain't have nothing done in my community since da-da-da-da-da. I hear that. They don't draw the logical conclusion that Donald Trump then is going to be the answer, the cure. He ain't that. Bottom line is what we are bottling up here are over 400 years of systematic oppression of a peoples.
I'm coming to you first, P. As I said, it's all tied up into one thing. From the Nazi march in downtown Nashville to Trump standing up talking crazy in front of Black conservatives and them slurping it up like it's the soup, to Benny the Butcher saying that he would support Trump because of what's going on around his way, to other Black folks just saying Trump because they don't know nothing else to say but Trump. What do you have to add on to all of that, Lord?
I think what Trump is doing is he's utilizing performance politics and popularity to try to gather a group of people. I think what people are ignoring, like we watched the Nazi march with people with their faces covered. Now, what would Trump say in that situation? There are some good people out there, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of uninformed people who, if you're monetarily driven and that pushes you off your box, and in your mind, you think that Trump is going to get you in a position where you can scam or you can get more money or there's money involved or there's a check involved with Trump, then you're going to go that way. Even though a lot of those policies that get money to certain communities, Trump isn't even actually for those policies. It has to go through a government process. But once it goes through the process and the check comes out, who puts his name on it? Who puts his face on it? Trump does, because he's in tune with what people want to see, want to hear, and it's like he's more into the like it's like WWF. You know what I'm saying? You like the performance of it, even though it's not real, but you're gonna go with it anyway. You're gonna get the information from, like you said, Fro's on the phone. You're gonna get it from the barbershop, and you're not gonna even go and do your own research. These is people like, much respect to Benny and the Griselda movement, but he's from an area where I grew up where you should know where you're being played. You know what I'm saying? You should know when somebody's taking advantage of you. You should know if you get a package to make sure it's real before you start distributing it to other people, because that's going to make you look bad. You know what I mean? You get a package, do your research before you start distributing it to the people. You get some information, do your research before you get on a national stage, knowing you have a following. Before you say something, that following is just going to be like sheep and just go towards what you're doing. It's damaging when you have a stage and you say things that could just completely just draw people to a person who is you can see that Trump is racist. We've shown that with these clips just now, but yet you follow him anyway. I just don't understand it. People, do your research and vote accordingly.
So Don, when you see somebody that is from around the way, brethren, right from the town, from the mud, and get up and take his platform, as P said, his huge platform, and just say, I'm going to vote for Trump. And it's like, why are you saying that you're going to vote for Trump, Benny? What are your points that are making you grab your phone and tweet out, I'm voting for Trump? You say that people around your way are hurting, whatever. So when are you saying that when Trump was in office, that your people weren't in the same position, or that their situation was better? What, when you saw that from Benny, did it move you?
Well, Montana is literally on the other side of Cambridge. Literally, we're off in Buffalo. It's on the other side of Cambridge. Like if you get to Ferry, Cambridge becomes Montana, becomes Cambridge, however you want to put it. So I basically grew up 3 blocks from there when I wasn't over in the zones. It's in 6-2 zone. So it's interesting that economically, if you look at Cambridge compared to Montana, it's 2 completely different worlds, right? It's always been like that. It's always been Montana's been more downtrodden, and Cambridge has been a little bit more middle class, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'll say that to say that he comes from that area where it's tough, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that even though he's had a checkered background, he understands how important it is to uplift groups of people. Whenever I see Benny, I see him with City Boy, I see him with Ricky, people that he came with. But I think the problem is it goes back to what I always say, and I'm gonna keep on saying, community versus capital. You know what I'm saying? There are certain people, and this isn't a slight against Benny or anyone who's ever involved themselves in the narcotics game, right? But there are certain people who are willing to sacrifice our community for their own personal capitalism. Now, obviously, he's far away from that right now, but that doesn't mean that his mindset has changed. You know what I mean? And if you see the majority of if you look in your neighborhood, you see that back in 2021, everybody was balling, people was driving Porsches, this, that, and the other was happening, all this good stuff was happening. You tend to forget about 17, 18, 19, when things were going horrible for black people. And how many, and also, and probably the most impactful thing to me about him saying that is knowing that Shay brought him into the game and how Shay passed. And Shay passed literally because of Donald Trump's negligence when he had the playbook in his hand to prevent all the things. That's literally a direct result of that. So it was shocking for me to hear that, but it wasn't surprising that he took that point of view.
So is it a case of parroting? Snoop says, oh, Donald Trump ain't did nothing to me. So, all right. Yes, wow, Snoop saying Trump is all right. Then he hears Kanye say, is it a case of parroting? This is the popular thing to say. Because you look at that clip of the native land, and when people are saying Trump, if you were to say why, they couldn't tell you why they saying Trump, because that's what they know. That's the name that they know. You know, I'm definitely not giving Benny a pass, because you brought up the actual point of the whole matter is that fool Trump was the main reason why a lot of people lost their lives in 20. You know what I'm saying? Because he was at the helm and responsible for what he was doing at the time. He wasn't worried about nobody but himself. And he's still not worried about anybody but himself. He knows how to play the game. There's no question about it. Because if you heard, we all listened to what he said during that South Carolina speech there. Unfortunately, our people are eating it up that he is in the system. He's more relatable to them because he's in the system. Once again, pimping the culture to his benefit. And people sit up there and say, yeah, I'm for him, but you can't tell me why. What benefit did Trump do for you when he was in power that you're going to say, I'm voting for him today?
You know what, Fro? When it comes to Snoop and Benny, they understand that Trump has a huge base. You know what I'm saying? And Snoop had a movie come out recently. Trump has a huge base. Benny has an LP out that's recent. Trump has a huge base. So it's like you said, like Don said, it's capitalism over community. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say what I gotta say to get this money. And like I said before, if money can get you off your square, the thing is, we grew up with a lot of people, and we're realizing that some of us don't have the same mindset when it comes to politics and community and money. And it could be surprising sometimes. But again, I agree. I'm an adult. I agree to disagree with you. And we could still be cool. I love Benny's music. I love the Griselda movement. I disagree with what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? I grew up like Don. I grew up on Genesee and Coons, which I walk to the store on the corner of Montana and Genesee on a daily basis. But I grew up with people who now they don't have the same mindset I have. Do I love them? Sure. But I disagree with you respectfully.
And that's that, not to cut you off, but that goes back to what we talked about as far as celebrity worship. You know what I mean? As far as, like you said, people see that Benny is saying this, somebody who's not educated or who doesn't think as deep or as far back as we can or have. I'm like, you know what? Man, I remember it was popping when Trump was around, and Trump, and Biden isn't this and Biden isn't that anymore. It's really, I think it's really a situation where
lazy, fam.
Yeah, and people don't realize the effect that they have. Even what's funny, people want power and influence, but don't truly understand how influential they can be. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we talked about the big career path for young people now is influencers, because they don't understand the power. They understand the power, but not the utilization or the wisdom that it takes to actually effectuate it correctly. You know what I mean?
Or the consequences of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not using it correctly. Man, we just really have to become a nation of thinkers again. We have to become, as far as Black men and Black people are concerned, we need to become thinkers again. We need to intellectualism needs to be rewarded as opposed to the nonsense that we see is awarded.
The performance.
Performance. Exactly. Performance, the coonery, the grand thing. All these things are rewarded.
As great as the internet is, it is as bad as it is, because there's so much disinformation out here, and the people are really quick to run with the disinformation more so than they are with the truth, because at the end of the day, that the truth hurts. Yeah. And what I did when I came off screen, man, is I went and found something from Brother Malcolm that speaks to this whole celebrity thing. So what I want to do is this, and is I want to share that, and then we're gonna come back and chop it up.
Now, concerning the poll taken by Newsweek magazine, I think you said that this was the leaders who said that, who went with King and against Mr. Muhammad around 90%. I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the Black community by the white community, and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
Oh yeah, man, I love Malcolm X so much, and not to cut the whole interview short, but I just wanted to play that snippet because that's what we've been talking about since we've been cooking up the soup. It's about not worshiping and taking as the gospel what Killer Mike says, what Charlamagne says, or what Beyonce says, or what Jay-Z or whomever, what I say as the gospel. You as a person, as an individual, owe it to yourself to go put that work in to say, okay, such and such said this, let me see if this is actual or not. You know what I'm saying? When you heard Brother Malcolm speak those words, Don, what came to mind?
Listen, I've always leaned more Malcolm X than Martin Luther King, probably always will. So it's right down my alley. It fits right with my philosophy. You never hear white people putting, I can't say you never hear, but until recently, with the Taylor Swift effect, you've never really heard white people worried about how a celebrity is going to influence voting. You know what I mean? Never. I mean, we've heard about Leo DiCaprio and Jon Stewart and the Kid Rock, people leaning and supporting certain candidates. And obviously you see why, because of their audience. They're doing it to pacify their certain parts of their audience. But we've never seen until recently that white people are literally afraid of the opinions of another white person who's a celebrity because it may affect the quality of their vote or the direction of their vote. Whereas we've been subjected to it since when? The 60s, 50s, since Black people became members of the society, through entertainment, through sports. We're acclimated to it now, which is a damn shame. And I was actually, just to go back a little bit, I was actually watching something this morning when Gil and Shane were talking about, in order to be a face of the NBA, now you have to be pro civil rights. Now you have to be an activist, because that's what comes with being the face of a certain league. Before, that wasn't even an option for us. You know what I mean? We were never looked at as intellectuals. We were always just looked at as the entertainment. To see that they're actually going through it right now is interesting, but it's something that I think we really need. That video should be played. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take that clip and put it on my Facebook, because that's something that people really need to pay attention to, because those people really are just truly influencers and don't have any power.
And the reason why they see it that way, that you can, why? I saw a clip of Stephanie Rule, and she had a panel on, and she was saying that you had to go and talk to Charlamagne, and you need to talk to Killer Mike to get the word out.
We've had stakes, we've had ties.
Okay, but then why don't I hear from the Charlamagne the God or the Killer Mikes out there saying, hold on?
Because they need to read a book and or talk to a political scientist, right? These are people who have platforms, massive platforms.
Huge influence over young people.
Massive influence over not just young people, but Black men in particular, right? And they are the ones who are parroting Russian propaganda, things that you can find easily on Facebook, sort of saying, well, neither one does anything, so, I don't know, if you want to stay home, that's up to you. They refuse to lay out how far this train can go off the track, right? How far Donald Trump can take us away from democratic ideals. This country is not perfect. Every Black person knows that, right? But incrementally, we have to actually work towards the ideals. We can't have people consistently telling young people, well, if you sit this one out, I don't think it'll make a difference because, Joe Biden hasn't done anything for your community. Absolutely not. I mean, we know that African Americans are most susceptible to environmental racism. We know that having...
And the reason why they think like that is because they still see us as a monolith.
Right.
You know what I mean? That we all this way. When you saw Brother Malcolm burning it down, Lord, what came to your mind?
The thing is about Malcolm was he was so futuristic that what he's talking about back then is happening right now.
Yeah.
He was so intelligent. He was so well read. He was just such a genuine person that, like I said, it's happening now. The thing about the difference between him and Martin unknowingly was leading us into the wrong path, as in going to civil rights, as in we want to be able to be with them. We want to be able to sit with them and eat with them. At the same time, he was destroying the all Black. There was a situation where, I think it was in South Carolina, I'm not sure, there was an all Black bus company. You couldn't go down there and say, we got to do a bus boycott, because it's all Black owned. The civil rights movement was more of a consumer movement for people to join in with white people instead of gaining respect and getting your own. Because that's how you get respect, by getting your own. And that's what the nation was about. That's what Malcolm was about. Let's do it ourselves. Let's get our own. And that's why the country didn't want to be involved with him. They wanted to be more into what Martin was doing. And that's why you had the actual athletes and the entertainers, and they were trying to draw them into more of a civil rights movement instead of let's get our own. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I love myself, I love Black people, doesn't mean that I dislike others. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they do. They'll say, you proud to be Black? Of course I'm proud to be Black. That don't mean I dislike you. Allow me to be proud. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I stand with Malcolm. I love Martin also. And I think later in life, he realized, you know what? I was leading my people into a burning building.
Yo, this soup is boiling, man. I love it the way y'all boys is cooking here today, man. I really do. So what I want to do, man, is I want to put a bow on this particular conversation or this part of the pod. This being the last Sunday in Black History Month, man, I want to leave y'all with this one. You know how Trump punk ass was talking about the chocolate ice cream and the vanilla ice cream, right? So back then they would only let us eat chocolate ice cream. You know, the Europeans wouldn't allow us to have the vanilla ice cream and shit. If they saw us or caught us with it, you know what the consequences were. I love my people so much. You know what my peoples did? They went ahead and they created. Let me just, before I give you that, what's your favorite ice cream?
Man, I love Briar's vanilla all day.
Okay, so you a vanilla ice cream dude. What about you, Lord?
Man, I grew up with my granny. She loved the maple walnut, so I love the maple walnut. You know what I'm saying?
That's real shit. That's my pops. That was my pops jump off too, was the maple walnut. So let me bring it back. So again, we couldn't had getting caught with the vanilla, right? So we always had to have the chocolate. So what our people did was they created the butter pecan, which is my favorite flavor of ice cream. They took the vanilla, they put the butter in there, and they put the pecans in there. So boom, they created to me, which is the best flavor there is, which is butter pecan, and they smashed them in the head with that one. They can never hold us down, man, and that's what we got to get back to, knowing, man, that we stronger together than we ever will be apart, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? As I said, this being the end of Black History Month, man, the last Sunday, I wanted to put a bow on that one. Also, man, as y'all see, we do our recordings on Sunday. Every Sunday at 2, we get down and chop it up and get into the soup. So last Sunday happened to be All-Star Weekend. You know what I'm saying? So, Don, did you get into the All-Star game at all last week or All-Star Weekend?
Yeah, I actually like the All-Star Saturday night. I didn't watch the slam dunk contest because I have zero interest in the slam dunk contest. But I watched the skills. I love to see the skills, the way they did this thing, the team with the home team and the number ones and the All-Stars. So I like to find creative ways to do different things. But like I said, I didn't watch the dunk contest, which used to be the biggest thing smoking. And then the game was just, man, $200, 200. Come on, man. Come on, son.
Yeah, that is rather wild. What about you, P? How much of the weekend did you get into?
I like the 3-point contest. You know what I'm saying? I watched that. I watched a little bit of stuff in the I don't know who the girl was from the WNBA. She was a sharpshooter. I watched a little bit of that also. But I was looking to see if I had some money on Dame, man. So I won a little bit of money on that. You know what I mean? Winning the 3-point
MVP? The 3-point contest. Did he win MVP? He won MVP too, right?
Yeah, he won MVP. The run at Delaware, and he won the 3-point. That's all that was. It was just running,
man, they play more defense at Delaware than they do up there.
Yeah, you're right about that, Don. It is more defense.
That's word. Don't fuck around and get out there and Nate Saltis be out there with the motherfucker. I caught the nigga Nate Saltis out there giving boys like major work with a motherfucking overalls on and no shirt on and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, at Delaware, just giving boys work in the Milto wear and shit.
Right after work, too. Right after 8 hours. Right in there and block your shot. You can't even go to the rack.
This shit is crazy, man. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, man. I probably watched about 15 minutes of the whole weekend, yo. I remember putting it on right before the whole skills challenge started. Then I woke up, man. They was Chuck and them was on TV talking. I turned the TV off and rolled over. And the All-Star game, I tuned in at the beginning, and it just really wasn't appealing. And after that, I just turned it off. I don't know what I started watching, but I didn't watch much of that All-Star game. And the reason why I'm bringing that up now, man, is one of my favorite pods, of course, is my dude, the Big Ticket, him and The Truth on KG Certified. And they talked about the All-Star game, man, and how they felt as though that they could go ahead and make some changes to it. So let's see what the Ticket and Truth had to say one time.
Now, and you know where it started? When Nike in the league didn't actually put pressure on LeBron James to get in the fucking contest.
No, I'm gonna tell you what.
Now fuck
I'm gonna tell you what.
Y'all niggas protect that nigga all the fucking time. Let's keep it real.
You said it. Let's put pause on it right there. Should LeBron had at least at one time in his 20-year jump off, at least one time been in the dunk contest, P?
At least 5 times. You jumping over the rim. Come on, man. Let us see it. Lose. It is what it is. Come on.
Jordan has lost a dunk contest, my dude. You know what I'm saying? And I love Kev, and I ain't just saying that he right on that because that's my dude, but it hurt. It hurt that he didn't participate at least once in the dunk contest. What you say?
LeBron only got 3 dunks. He got this joint, he got this joint, and then he got the joint when he catches with the left and then switches, catch with the right and switch to the left. I was like, you know what? That's really the only way he dunks on boys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that he's a creative dunker enough to be in a contest, but he's a great in-game dunker. You know what I'm saying? Certain boys is just great in-game dunkers. You know what I mean? They got Brian got the power, the speed, the moves. I don't think he would have been entertaining in a dunk contest, even though the fans have always wanted to see it. So I can see from that point of view, because my guy won a joint. It's disappointing that he never did it, but I really don't think that it would have been too exciting. Honestly,
the creativity would flow if you competing against other people dunking the ball. Though it's not like it's in game; it's just you and the rim.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can freestyle some dunks now if you jumping out of the gym. You know what I mean?
But literally, if you ever watch LeBron play and watch the dunks that he does, I'm telling you, he only do 3 dunks. So he do this one. He do this one.
Even with that being said, fucking Allen Houston has been in the dunk contest. Kenny Smith, Sid Sabalas, D Brown. Come on. It ain't all about the showtime you put in the game. It's about you being John Starks was even in the dunk contest before. It's him being the biggest star, one of the biggest stars in the game. That makes other people want to do it. When he don't do it, all the rest goes is, man, why I'm going to do it? If LeBron ain't doing it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just me. We're going to continue on to see what Truth and Ticket got to say, man.
That's real.
You said it.
Y'all should have made that nigga get in the dunk contest. Now Zion, Jair, all these niggas think they don't have to get in it. Real shit.
But you said it earlier.
Element of defeat.
The All-Star game was really a platform,
trampoline,
a trampoline for you to show off your brand, who you are, and
what you got coming out.
Facts. So now, when you got social media,
now think about that. Jordans came out every All-Star game.
Yeah.
Every All-Star game was when his new Jordans would come out.
Mm-hmm.
Do all that by the time you get the All-Star, you already got a big enough following that you don't really need that platform. You got your own individualized platform through social media.
What we are seeing is the disconnect from the older generation, the Jews you get from the old head, and then coming in here knowing how to actually be not only professional, but be an all-star. Know how to actually talk and deal with the all-star director to say, this one I'm doing and this one I'm not doing. And then managing your time. Because if not, the league will use you the whole day.
Right.
Hold on. I got to get some rest. I got to get some shots up. And then 2, I got something I'm doing with my family. You got to honor that. Guess who teaches you how to do that, y'all?
The old head.
The old head.
Right.
Jordan, Pat Ewing, fucking Shaq, fucking all the old heads who sitting in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These niggas that's sitting in there. We're just in here talking. It's cars, it's music, but then the old head knowledge that's going around. Tim Hardaway telling you some real shit. Sean Kemp telling you some real shit. And this is what happens. By the time you get to year 2, man, guess what? Kobe, man, rest in peace to my dog, man. He was nervous as fuck when we got to New York. He didn't make it his first year. His second year, we was in New York, which was my first time starting. He got chosen by the fans, and he was nervous as fuck. I was talking like, man, we finna wax these old ass niggas, man. I was young boy shit, right? Bro, by the time we got to year 4 or 5, he was, yeah, let's go. Hey, you hear me? And that was the energy. He got that from all the old heads who was right there. GP, Sean Kidd, those are all old heads, Charles Barkley, telling us how to come into it. So by year 5, bro, we damn near, we're it.
Right.
Coach the feature, now won it. The dunk contest, niggas was talking shit on the low. You can see the gamemanship in which I was talking about when niggas was cool.
Come on, man.
Learning how to not only be an all-star, but what goes on in all. Guess what the old head also telling you? Hey, bro, when y'all go out tonight, y'all got crews? Okay, look, when y'all go out, the chicks out.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
I hear they woo, 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 woo. Don't go for the woo, because some of these niggas, they square. They don't come through, you feel me?
Right.
So the old head telling you how to get in and get out the party.
Overlay for the underlay.
The overlay for the underlay. And don't get the woo, 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 and the yah, yah, yah. All that knowledge in there, you in here like this. Okay. You know how to move. You know what restaurants. You know how to get the reservation over here to do.
That connect ain't there.
Lord, it's a whole disconnect.
Yeah.
Or is it on the older guys to show the young
Man, the young dudes is intimidated by them.
Oh, listen, young boys sitting just like church. They ain't, and when you a young boy, man, I'm not talking over Jordan. When Jordan is talking, I'm sitting just like this.
Yeah.
You do it just like this. Man, when the old head get to talking, it'll be 2 or 3 conversations. You might just sit here and just be listening to them because there's so much in their conversation. And then he'll turn here, say something to you, and then it'll be going. And next thing you talking to Pat Ewing, Matumbo, and Jordan about, and Grant Hill talking to y'all about, man, you about to be the woo, and I'm up here, what?
Right.
And in 5 years, I was just that. You hear me? It's a clip. Me and Cole sitting on the table, and we getting taped. And there's a bunch of motherfuckers going around here. Guess what I did, P?
You know, I love that nigga. His stories is the best going, man. I'm telling you, man.
So I learned this from the old head. I go to the trainer of the All-Star game. He know this. I go get all the socks. It's like different. It's so much dope ass merch during All-Star game, but don't nobody know.
I think I learned that from somebody getting the socks.
Lord, you get all the socks, you get all the tights, you get all the stuff that come with it. Then all the dope shit, because you got your bag. And you just throw it in your bag.
Throw it in your bag.
The trainer gets the fuck out of the way too. Don't nobody know to do that.
Damn, for sure.
Don't know. Guess who taught me that? GP. Say, look, man, this how you do it. You come in here, you step out this here, man.
Doing that.
This all for your boys, this for your mom. Socks. He was getting balls. He was just putting it in there. Then he'll go around, hey, man, sign the ball, man. Everybody gonna sign for GP, right? He looked up, Lord, he had a whole bag of merch that he had got from every year that he just threw it in the closet. I'm saying all of this is part of All-Star. I said to Kobe, I said, bro, you're gonna look up, and in 5 years, bro, this whole room gonna be different. That's the wave. The league got to catch up with what's going on with the wave. But that disconnect from how to be an all-star, how to go about all-star, and then guess what? You have GP at halftime say, all right now, this for the money now.
This for the money.
We're not pay the fans they have. All right, this for the money
now.
Then that money was like 100,000 to 15,000. It was like a huge, niggas was going at it. You know what I'm saying? In that fourth quarter, coach gonna put everybody who hitters. Okay, you and everybody in the huddle like this. Hey man, hey, you can reject. Well, that's right. It's a real game.
It's a real game.
It's a real fucking game. And that's all I think everybody's talking about.
So how we get back to that? Or we never going back to that?
I think we're too gone.
We're too gone.
I think if you super incentivize the game.
What's super incentivized? Like what you gonna?
So yeah, man. KG and Paul setting up building about the All-Star game because the game is T-Rash. Before I get into what Paul and Kev was talking about, man, I can remember Sunday afternoon. This was when the games came on during the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sunday afternoon after church. You get back from church about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and the game was on. You got your good God degree from Mondukes, and you got the game going. I remember one game, this is when Chuck was with he like threw Dream trying to hook or something, and Chuck 6'4" going up.
Give me that.
Get it down.
Akeem. Blocked by Barkley. Barkley blocks Akeem. Only 6'4.5". He did it. Now watch the block. This is a monster block on a monster player. Charles Barkley.
You know what I'm saying? But to go back to what Kev and Paul was building on, man, I love that, man. It's the youth of the league, man. It's Jason Tatum is the OG, and he 26.
Yeah.
25.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And then you got the new cat, the John Morant coming in, and he 21-ish. So they basically in the same era almost. So I can't really put you up on nothing because you already know everything. And that's just me looking at how it goes and how the NBA, in my opinion, has fucked up the product.
Right.
And I am a man of a certain age, so I don't have no problem with telling motherfuckers to get off my lawn. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
The NBA kind of took a dip, man. For me, is when, and I love Kev, but when it's the high school cats started jumping to the league, and the league got so young so quick.
Right.
You had the high school kids that had like maybe what, a 10-year run before they made it, that you had to go to school at least 1 year. It might have even been longer than that, if I'm not mistaken. Because
it was from like 96 to 2006 or some shit like that. Then you had to do like 1 year after that. Because Brandon Jennings was the first person to be affected by that shit, really.
Right. He had to go overseas.
He went overseas. And that was a product, and that's how it got to this place that is the All-Star game don't mean anything because the league has gotten so young. I've seen online where coaches have been talking about they have to teach the dudes how to play because they don't know how to play, because they haven't played enough organized ball. They play AAU,
right?
Maybe a year of college basketball, and then they boom to the league. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pass it to y'all in a minute, but I just want to get my shit off one time. You know what I'm saying? And it's like in our era, man, college basketball was the shit.
What?
College basketball was literally, to me, I'm speaking for me right here, was larger than the NBA. And this is even when Jordan was NBA. Big East was the Big East.
All day.
You know what I'm saying? When dudes stayed until at least their junior year in college so that you knew players and teams. So my thing is the league got too young because once again, always dollar bill.
Yep.
And that was, in the All-Star game is a consequence of how young the league got over those years. So I'm gonna pass it on to y'all. And before I come to you, Don, to me, the only way they're gonna make it personal, if they make it US versus the world.
Right.
That's the only way it's gonna
They
get
do that
serious.
in hockey, yeah.
That's the only way it's gonna get serious. Go ahead, you Ace. Go ahead, go in.
I agree with that concept of the U.S. versus the world, because now I think the world has enough good players, and it's going to be a sense of pride, and it's also something that the fans will actually pay attention to. You know what I mean? And we all know America's a villain anyway. You know what I mean? And black people in America are the ultimate villain. That would play really well to the audience. But as far as the actual tradition of the All-Star game, man, I remember when boys used to man each other up, and I still watch the clips when Kobe and LeBron went one-on-one, and Kobe blocked them 2 out of 3 times and smacked them on the dunk on and smacked them on the ass. Like, I miss that. I miss boys going at each other, because you used to be like, you know what? And the NBA is strange, man, because you're only gonna see a boy twice a year if he's in the Western Conference. You know what I'm saying? Go at this dude. You know what I'm saying? We want to see you the best dude on your squad. You the best. You know what I'm saying? He the best dude on his squad. In the conference, go at him. You know what I'm saying? It used to be that competitive nature. Like KG said, the first half was for the fans. You got the alley-oops and all the dunks and all the cute stuff. But then the third quarter come around, fourth quarter come around, you know who playing. You know who playing in the fourth quarter. Somebody was either going for the MVP or the team that was the closest. You know what I'm saying? It's just not competitive anymore, man. It's not even something that I would want to go see, because that's all celebrity worship at this point.
What about you, Lord? What you think about what Kev and Truth was talking about?
One thing that Kev said that caught my eye was the OGs. You know what I'm saying? Sit you down and hit you with, you don't want to go there at this time. You want to make your reservation at this time. You want to get some shots up here. You don't want to mess with her because she got a baby by him, and blase splizzle, this, that, and the third. I think the NBA, it should be mandatory for each team to have at least 2 OGs on the roster, fam. Because it's getting to a point where these kids, like you said, the teams are so young, to a point where they don't even know how to play. They brandishing guns. The social media got them thinking that they're bigger than they are. The games is trash. The teams, you know what I'm saying? It's, say you go to the park at the beginning of the day and y'all running, and as the night goes on, the players get younger, the runs become trash. You're like, these some bullshit runs. And that's what the All-Star game is now. is bullshit runs, man. This is some bullshit out here. You know what I'm saying? And that's because the OGs of the league have faded away. How are you 27, Jason Tatum, and you the leader of the squad? You know what I'm saying? It's just they need some older players, or not even players, just bring back some of the veterans from those teams and have them, you know, if they can, have them sit with the players and talk to them and be on the team that actually, you know, an assistant to the coaches.
Like a Udonis
Haslam, exactly. That's a perfect example. Because
but fuck UD.
Yeah, at the same time. As a man, we love you, but as a Heat member, nah. You know what I mean? But again, that's why the runs are trash, man. They don't have anyone to guide them.
Fuck out of here.
Then, next thing you know, one of the players is hanging out with this broad from this porn from when he was 12. You know what I mean?
Right. Actual facts. You know what I mean? But yeah, NBA, if y'all really want to get it together, all y'all need to do is comment down below to men of a certain age, the soup, and we will get y'all straight, man.
Yes.
Share, subscribe. USA against the world. That would be nuts.
There it is, man. As we continue to cook the soup up, man, we're going to finish it off with another NBA topic, man. And this is, again, Puff coined a term. Shout out to Puff, even though the crazy shit you go into, man. Hold your head.
My guy. You know that's my guy right there too. Shouts out to Puff.
Hold your head, Puff.
Go
But
ahead, dude.
he coined a term called
bitch assness is back.
Bitch assness. I remember he coined that term, and that term bitch assness is stamped on Scottie Pippen's forehead right now.
Wow.
This dude, man,
and a few others,
man. I really don't know what's up with this guy, man. And another joint that we frequent with is crazy ass Gil in the arena, man. They talked about Scottie, Luke Longley, and Hope Grant at Hope. You know what I mean? Hope Grant, as they are on this no bull tour. Before we get into the soup on this one, let's go ahead and see what Gil and them had to say about this one time.
Dance helped a lot of us get through the pandemic, but not everybody was a fan, especially.
Man, say word. Say you wasn't locked in when we couldn't move around during the pandemic thanks to punk ass Trump. Say you wasn't thankful as hell for the fucking Last Dance, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And they released it early because of the fact that it wasn't supposed to be released until June of that year, but they released it early because of the pandemic. Shouts out to Netflix.
Exactly. It was supposed to come out after the finals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And due to the fact wasn't nothing moving and wasn't nothing on TV, they blessed us with that. So let's go ahead and continue on, man.
Shouts out to
their teammates. So according to the NBL, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Luke Longley are going on a no bull tour to tell their side of the Last Dance story and what it was like playing for the Bulls.
Come on.
In the 90s. And we can't see it in this photo, but Horace Grant actually had a pair of J's on.
Fuck out of here.
They made the announcement.
Straight stuff and shit.
Are they J's?
Or they?
I don't know. It looked like he got them from Finish Line.
They may have been L's.
Them shits was nasty.
Team Jordans.
Not even team.
Them Team Jordans.
He can't get the regular one.
Yeah. He put his address in. This shit red flag.
Wearing his shoes at the same time is crazy.
What do y'all think about that Bulls trio going in to question the narrative of how they were presented in the Last Dance?
You mean presented NBA champions?
That was part of it.
Okay. So they're presented as NBA champions is basically what they're going in there saying how great it was with their talent and skill, you know, and they won some championships because that's what the media's have us valuing. Right? Championships is what our legacy is, right? So I hope they go in there and talk about how great it was to be pushed by the greatest man of all time and made them some legitimate champions for them to even go on stage to talk about the 3 championships that they have, because we all know they wouldn't have had one without it. So it should be all love, we will hope. Because if they say anything negative about winning the championship, it will hurt the legacy of just ring culture, because you got 3 men up there that got, 12 rings between the 3 of them, talking how bad it was. I mean, I will.
Perhaps.
I'm pretty sure if I hear one negative thing about ring culture, I'm going to tell you right now, having 300 million seems a lot better again. Yes, sir, because 12 rings up there complaining. I know who ain't complaining. 300 million. Yeah. I can tell you that right now.
Scottie Pippen got slightly less than that during his time with the Bulls.
So I mean, hey, all I'm saying is, when they do that, who would you rather be, James Harden or Scottie Pippen? I want to see what Scottie Pippen got to say.
So, man, yeah, because that's sad.
That's sad the way they got to be careful. They got to be careful with their words while I'm watching.
That's sad the way they going out. Come on, man. That's sad.
Damn shame what happened to Flip.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Them three looking just like that.
But what's the narrative? What is the narrative that they push?
He said something like that bullshit documentary, right?
I know.
He called it bullshit. So that means it got to be negative because he's saying it was bullshit. So it's something that he want to talk about that wasn't told.
That's what I'm saying. How does he want to? Like, how are they portrayed inside of the document? Besides champions,
something like that, Gil. I don't think it was wholly positive. I believe Horace Grant was called a snitch and was going to the media, giving inside info.
Giving inside info on what? Winning championships?
Ring culture.
All I'm trying to say, this is ring culture, y'all. Yeah, this is one of the best dynasties the world has ever known. Yeah. So that's all I want. Okay, I just be careful, motherfucker. Don't let me get in question rings again.
Man, it's a lot. They ain't happy with the rings. It's just a lot. It's a lot over there.
And I just want to see how media treats it, though. Because they're going to have to stand tall on what they push out to the rest of us. Because you're talking about people's legacies and sacrifices and stuff like that. And this right here can just jeopardize everything that people talk about.
The tour don't start.
I don't give a fuck what it starts. We're going to get what they say.
No, for sure. I'm just saying.
Starting this weekend, not sure.
But that should let you know how long it might last. If it's starting overseas first.
They like the other temptation.
So, Scottie Pippen, P.
Fuck out of here.
What's up with dude, man?
I don't know. Robin is tripping. That's what's going on. I think the documentary rubbed him the wrong way. I think he thinks, even though Scottie is a skilled player, most definitely, he wasn't Michael Jordan. He wasn't the leader of the team. I'm saying, you up there complaining about being pushed by the greatest. I think Scottie is the player he is because Michael would tell him at the end of practice, let's go. Me and you, one-on-one. You got an opportunity to play against Mike one-on-one after practice every night. You're gonna end up nice. And you already 6'7". You know what I'm saying? So what are you doing complaining about a documentary about the greatest player to me to ever play the game? Come on, man. As Puff Daddy would say, what would we call that?
Bitch assness.
There we go. That's what it looked like to me. And plus you already having issues with your ex-wife, and it's just a lot, Zaddy. It's a lot, man. And you putting it out on the forefront. You know what I'm saying? You putting that bitch assness out there for everybody to see. And that's what we see. You and Ho Grant. You know what I'm saying? Luke Longley, come on, man. I ain't even been paying attention to Luke Longley, man. For real?
Right.
Seriously?
Was he?
Come on.
He was. Oh, Luke Longley was on the team. When you see Pippen, Ho Grant, and Luke Longley, the Australian, on this No Bull tour, is it the fact that they need money? Is it that they need money? Is it that they were portrayed poorly in The Last Dance? Or is it that they just hate Michael Jordan? Which one of those three is it? Or is it all three?
I think that sometimes people overestimate their place in history. Even though obviously they were integral parts of the team, Luke Longley obviously faded after Chicago. But Scottie, who was supposed to be the next man after Mike was gone, guess who he got? Guess who he got faded by? My man deaded him. Kobe deaded. He deaded him in Portland. Deaded. There was nothing left. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a tad bit of lost nostalgia. Probably they feel disrespected. But like, really, what more could their role be with Michael Jordan? Honestly, like, what really could you expect? And it was his documentary. So, like, what more could you expect? Scotty, you were never really an intriguing person as far as personality is concerned. You can tell by your short stints on TV. Luke, I don't know what the hell you doing, but maybe that's why they started in Australia, over in Brisbane and Melbourne. They only got 2 dates for it. It's not like it's a real tour. They only got literally 2 dates for it, and it's overseas in Australia. And Horace Grant, you didn't do shit after you left. Oh, actually, you did get 1. I think you got 2 with the Lakers, right? You know, coming at Mike like this, man, like it's not going to elevate your legacy. As a matter of fact, I think it hurts. I think it hurts their legacy. You know what I mean? I don't see why it's necessary. I really don't. I really don't.
You know what I say to them?
I ain't buying it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like this, man. We all know Scottie Pippen is a great player, was a great player. But we also know that he ain't live, because when he had the chance to get live, he came up short. However you want to cut it. Then
to the Knicks. Shouts out to the Knicks.
Shouts out to the Blue and Orange.
Blue and Ash.
I want to also say about the doc. It only showed 2 shortcomings of Scottie Pippen. The bullshit first contract you signed, where they say people told you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And then also you having migraines in Game 7 against the Pistons.
Right.
Is this not actual? How are you upset about that when this is what happened? It's not as though it was made up or
right. Wasn't a movie. It was a documentary.
Right. It actually happened. It's been documented.
Right.
So nobody ever saw you on the same level as Jordan. You know, and even Jordan said in the documentary himself, he wouldn't have won those chips without you, dude.
Without you, right.
What
more do you want?
What do you want? You will never ever be, as my boys down there in ATL say, ever. You can't get there, my G.
Can't.
It is what it is. You know, and you really playing yourself for real, man.
He's really making himself look bad, man. Like I said, he's got 6 rings. Like Gil said, he's got 6 rings. And obviously he's wealthy to a certain extent. So I don't understand. I know it's not about they going broke or nothing like that. I don't know about Horace Grant and Luke Longley. I'm sure Luke is a national hero in Australia. So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure he's solid. You know what I mean? I don't know about Horace and Harvey, you know what I'm saying, what them boys is up to. But if I'm not mistaken, Harvey was the one that boys was giving the love to when he came out of college. Remember we was talking about the whole college shit earlier. You know what I'm saying? I was a big college basketball fan probably until about North Carolina made me cry, probably like till 2018. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, remember we used to play NBA Live and they used to have Ho Grant and Ha Grant?
Ha Grant. Yeah,
man. Harvey Grant was a man in college. Remember that shit? He was the man in college. So yeah, man, I don't understand these boys, man. Be happy you was part of something that would never ever be repeated or forgotten. You know what I mean? Fucking what? 6 championships in what? 7 years? 7 championships, 6 championships in 7 years? That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's a bad look for all 3 of them. Luke Longley, nobody really gives a
fuck out of here.
He could walk down the street, and other than him being 7 foot, would nobody know who the hell he is.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a sad state, man, when these guys have to get on this type of tangent to bring attention to themselves. I know Scotty got a lot going on. It ain't easy being him, but he ain't making it easier.
Right.
With this bullshit that he's on, man. But yeah, the soup is done, man. I'm gonna take it off of the irons, man, before we go ahead and disperse this, man. Anybody, y'all got anything to say to the peoples before we ride out?
Yeah, I got one thing to say, man. I'm gonna continue to pound 2 points. I'm gonna continue to pound community over capitalism, and I'm going to continue to pound this anti-celebrity worship. I am going to continue to pound that as long as these guys give me an opportunity for that, because I think that the majority of our problems can be solved at least through those, at least starting to solve our problems through those 2 things that we constantly emphasize, man. We really have to be there for each other. I remember speaking with somebody and telling them about, I got a cannabis brand that's not active, but speaking with somebody, and I was like, listen, I really want to make this thing a thing for Black people, and that way we can do something. They're like, it's not about Black people. It's about getting to as many people as you can. That's not what I'm about. You know what I mean? I'm about elevating us as a whole. So I'm always gonna choose our community over capitalism. I'm always gonna choose God over Satan. I'm always gonna choose us over anybody else. So I just really want to emphasize that, man. Those things are really things that I not say stand on, but those are principles. Those are part of my foundation as a person, man. I don't mean to bludgeon anybody with it. If the audience doesn't like it, please put it in the comments and let us know. But that's something that I'm going to continue to emphasize.
Shit, we riding with you, and
no doubt.
Say how much we riding with you. We gonna have some merch, and we gonna put that on the merch. Community over capitalism. That's the new wave right there. Lord, you got anything else to say before we ride up out of here?
Yeah, I'd like to send a special rest in peace shout out to my cousin Tal.
Rest in peace.
2 years ago today when he passed, this guy was my everything, my idol, taught me everything from tying my shoes to breathing before I shoot a free throw. Rest in peace, Tal, man. We love you, man.
Rest in peace, Tal. No doubt, man. And this was the latest and the greatest episode of Men of the Certain Age, The Soup. And when I go, I'm going to say this, man. Remember, it's always the same old soup. We just re-hitting it. Peace.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace out. Later, y'all.